Breaking news out of the United Kingdom, where Queen Elizabeth spent a night in the hospital for preliminary investigations. In a statement, Buckingham Palace says, following medical advice to rest for a few days, the Queen attended hospital on Wednesday for some preliminary investigations, returning to Windsor Castle at lunchtime today and remains in good spirits. Joining me now to talk more about this is Richard Berthelson, CTV News royal commentator. Richard, it sounds like all is well, but this is out of an abundance of caution.
Yeah, it's kind of where we were yesterday, where we were kind of told not to be too worried and as an abundance of caution. And what we've subsequently learned is after that release was made yesterday about the Queen's Northern Ireland two-day trip was canceled, it appears the Queen did go in for some tests at the hospital in London. Reports to me indicate that they made a decision that after the tests went on into the evening, that it was probably easier for her to stay at that hospital, which is quite an elite institution, rather than drive back to Windsor, which is about a 26-kilometer drive. And so she stayed in maybe for the further test, maybe some observation, and she returned to Windsor Castle in time for lunch today.
Help us understand why this does raise a few alarm bells. Obviously, her age and who she is, and people care very much about her.
Yeah, and I think it's really hard to kind of square the circle with the pictures that we've had of the Queen in the first 3 weeks this month, where she's undertaking engagements. One of them, as late as Tuesday evening, where she was with major business figures and political leaders at a reception. And she seemed to be, really in quite fine form, walking without a cane, smiling and enjoying herself. But perhaps she woke up yesterday morning and had some other feelings about her health. And, obviously the doctors will work with an abundance of caution. I think the real issue here is going to be the credibility of the palace press operation, having, said that, given one sort of statement yesterday, they were forced to do this today when one newspaper in the United Kingdom got a hold of the fact that she, in fact, had been in hospital overnight. So the palace is going to have to really consider how they approach this, balancing the needs for privacy with a queen who, has a few areas where she likes to retain a little privacy, and the public's need to know.
Right, that's a very good point. Meantime, she does keep a very busy schedule, and she had several engagements on the calendar. What do you think will happen to those?
Well, I think it depends on what exactly the medical circumstances are, which we really have very little information about. I mean, the Queen was looking forward to hosting world leaders in Glasgow next week, in conjunction with the Environmental Summit. Obviously, it's very important to both Prince Charles and Prince William, who are also participating. It's a full court press. It's important to the UK government. It's important to many people around the globe, and I think the Queen wants to be there. But there's no question that if there's any issues with her health, I think that probably will not happen. So we'll see what is on the cards in the next few days. The Queen has daily duties she has to undertake at her desk to kind of sign documents and keep things moving. Indications are she'll do that, and we'll see what happens and if there's any further alerts that are coming out. I mean, the palace will now have kind of set the entire British media on the scent of this story. So we'll see what comes out in the next few days, because what was kind of a non kind of urgent or non-dramatic announcement yesterday, although it was unusual, has now kind of taken another step higher.
Okay, we'll continue to follow this. Always appreciate you coming on such short notice, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.